Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Cadisen C8207G. Start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing a Benyar 5194, and Greg was wearing my Sapphire 1005. Master Skywalker sent Grogu to a speech therapist because he didn't want him to talk backwards like Yoda. I asked him, how's it going? He said, properly speaking am I? I said, no. You should say, I am speaking properly. Just who did Master Skywalker send you to learn to speak properly? He said Jonathan and Scott, the Properly brothers. All right, let's take a look at the watch. Comes in this typical Cadisen box. Have the little bitty baby Cadisen cleaning cloth. The user's manual. The unsigned warranty card. And a little tiny screwdriver, which of course means we have screw pins. And here's the watch. Isn't that a nice looking watch? I really like it. I think they did a good job with the looks. This Cadisen is similarly shaped to the C8208, which was a clear homage to an Omega Seamaster 300 heritage. This one, however, has a Seiko 62 Moss vibe to it, although they oddly enough went with an oyster style clasp. At 38 millimeters, this watch is a bit smaller, but that seems to fit the retro 60s look that they are going for. This watch is powered by the NH35, as the NH35 shortage has been resolved for some time. Supply and demand has done its magic, and this watch is going for $82 before sales and coupons. I think that is a reasonable price for a solid steel watch of this build and quality and movement. You can also get this watch in blue or black. I usually choose blue, but I really like this white dial, so I chose it instead. All three colorways have a rubber strap option, which will save you $10. I wish the AliExpress ads would show it if the rubber has a buckle or a clasp, but it doesn't. The watch is 38 millimeters at the bezel, and the bezel slightly overhangs the case, so the case is just a hair smaller. It's 46.1 millimeters lug to lug with protruding end links. It's 12.7 millimeters thick, has an 18 millimeter lug width, and weighs 138 grams on the supplied bracelet with 2 links removed. The bezel is a 90 click unidirectional. The action is really good. The clicks are solid. And unlike the last one I reviewed, the C8208, the bezel action isn't too light. So you have no worries about knocking it out of place. Everything lines up just good. And the bezels also has a ceramic insert. It has a really nice look to it. And just being like a 62 Moss homage, it has the minute counters all the way through the bezel. And not just the ascension phase. Why they went with 90 click instead of 120, I don't know. But the last one was that way too. Then we have a white dial, and it looks like there's no sunburst effect. We have the Cadisen name and logo up top, and then it says automatic and 200 meters on the bottom. So 200 meters is a pretty good water resistance. I don't have the equipment to test water resistance, so I usually just take their word for it. Obviously, if you were a real diver and wanted to dive with this, you'd probably get a different watch anyway. Then we have the minute markers on a chapter ring, which is kind of nice because it kind of frees up, makes the dial look a little bit less cluttered. And then we have applied Lume indices with batons and thicker batons at the 9, and really more like a rectangle at the 12. And then we have stick hands, and they're fully loomed. And then we have the second hand with this loomed, I wouldn't call it a lollipop because it's not round. Then we have a date at the 3 o'clock. As you can see, it's the 1st, July 1st. Then we have a signed screw down crown. The thread action is pretty good. It doesn't feel all, you don't really feel it when you unscrew it, and it pops nicely. And also when you go to screw it back down, it catches right away and screws right back in. So that's always good. Then we have a flat sapphire crystal. It really is sapphire. I tested it. And I don't know if there's any AR coating or not, but you can seem to see through it just fine. It doesn't seem to be too bad reflection-wise. Then we have a solid steel case. I really like this case. I think it's shaped just nice, and it's fully brushed. There's no polishing anywhere, no, not even a chamfered polished edge or anything, and I think that gives a really good retro look. Then we have a screw down case back. It says Cadisen Automatic Sapphire Crystal and 20 ATM water resistance, which is of course 200 meters. Underneath the case back is that NH35 movement. This is the go-to movement. For automatic watches in this price range, it's a 24 joule with about a 40-hour power reserve. And it's a 3 hertz movement that ticks 6 times a second, and it has a bidirectional rotor. And they're usually fairly accurate right off the shelf, even though they have a tolerance of plus 40, minus 20. So let's put it on the time grapher and see how this one's doing. Here it is on the time grapher. As you can see, it's running about plus 10, plus 9. So it's running a little fast, but not bad. It's always preferable if you have a hacking movement to run fast instead of slow, because when you set the watch, all you have to do is hack it and wait for time to catch up, unlike a slow watch where you have to actually move the hands. And it looks like there's only a little bit of bead error. That's why the line looks pretty smooth, and you don't see 2 lines. So yeah, this one's running pretty good. The bracelet is a 3-link oyster style, and it does have screw pins. And the heads are a little bit smaller than Pagani Design heads. And unlike Pagani Design 2, there's holes on the other end, so if you ever get one stuck, you can push it out a lot easier. Then we have solid end links, and they are protruding. But the lug to lug of this is so short, who cares? And then, yeah, this is kind of odd. The other one, the C8208, had a more generic clasp, but this has a Rolex style clasp. It is signed. But yeah, this is definitely Rolex style, oyster style. And it does have the Easy Link, but unlike Pagani Design, the Easy Link is actually easy. And also, unlike Pagani Design, when you go to adjust it to use when you go to use the micro adjust, both ends are available to push out with the tool, not just one. And also, as you can see too, it has an extra hole of micro adjust, unlike a Pagani Design. So you can really adjust this one good. I just wish, once again, I just wish they'd have side holes. I don't mind side holes at all. It would make it so much easier to use. But yeah, I just don't understand why they went with a oyster style clasp when they're going for a Seiko style look. But oh well, at least it's not as difficult as the Pagani Design oyster style. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks really nice. Sits nice and flat. Has a good wrist roll. Since it's only 38 millimeters, just about anybody should be able to wear this. Here we are in the Lume room, just wearing the watch. I thought it had good lume, but unfortunately I was wrong. As we speed up the tongue, we see just how strong the index lume is, but unfortunately, look at those hands. They are fading very fast and are soon completely gone, and you can only tell the minute hand is there when it obscures an index. Very disappointing, as it is the hands that matter most. The lume pip is better than the hands, but not near as strong as the indices. Pretty disappointing. What do I like about this watch? Well, stunning looks and wearability. Excellent bezel action. And I really like this brush case. I think they did a really good job with that. What are my grapes and groans? The hand lume is a joke. And the Rolex style clasp just makes using the micro adjust difficult. And 18mm lug width. I wish they would have went for 20, and it would have been a lot easier to change straps on this. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, we don't buy sub $100 AliExpress watches for the lume. Everything else about this watch is great and will make a great addition to anyone's collection. Whether or not you pick this or the Seamaster style C8208, you have a real winner on your hands. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Cadisen C8207. And I will be back with another unboxing. I have two really good watches coming from AliExpress today. This is going to be the ultimate unboxing. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.